They were teachers, designers, coders. Now they're sleeping on sidewalks, just steps from million-dollar lofts. Welcome to Skid Row, where dreams dissolve into survival. In the heart of LA, the homelessness crisis doesn't whisper, it screams. Tents fill the streets, trash lines the gutters, and each story will rewrite your idea of who ends up with nothing. We're not talking about strangers. These are people who did everything right. In this Rome-kind journey, we face hard questions. Is this just LA's failure, or a glimpse of what's coming everywhere? The truth may shake you, but maybe that's what truth is supposed to do. Number 1. The rental crisis after disaster strikes. Imagine surviving a wildfire, only to be burned again, this time by your rent. In Los Angeles, natural disaster meets economic disaster in a 1-2 punch that knocks families flat. You lose your home to flames, and when you finally find another, the landlord greets you with a bill that's doubled. One Beverly Hills home reportedly jumped $4,000 overnight. That's not a typo. That's a cold, hard eviction notice disguised as math. These aren't celebrities or billionaires we're talking about. These are teachers, cashiers, nurses, folks who had steady jobs, stable lives, until disaster struck. And when it did, the market didn't flinch. It saw opportunity. Where most saw tragedy, some saw profit. So what happens next? Families pack into cars, rent trailers with no water, squat in parks, or leave the state altogether. It's not just homelessness, it's the disintegration of the middle class in real time. The government tried to step in. A 10% rent cap was meant to protect tenants, but loopholes, they're like smog in LA, everywhere. Landlords swap units, reclassify properties, or raise amenity fees to sneak around the cap. So, the law exists, but the protection, not so much. Let's be real. If you can't afford to live where you work, is that still living, or just surviving? And what does it mean for LA, the so-called city of dreams? When even full-time workers can't afford a studio apartment, it's no longer about ambition. It's about survival. Now have you seen your rent spike out of nowhere?
It went on once in my room and then it turned on.
Have friends been priced out of neighborhoods they grew up in? This rental crisis isn't just a statistic. It's a slow-motion earthquake, reshaping one of America's most iconic cities. And if the aftershocks of fire and inflation keep coming, the dream of LA might just become a cautionary tale for every city on Earth. Number 2. Skid Row, a parallel world in plain sight. A place just 10 minutes from luxury, where time stands still, and so does hope. Walking into Skid Row feels like stepping through a portal. In just blocks, you go from sleek skyscrapers to streets stacked with tents, debris, and real lives struggling. This isn't a hidden slum. It's under a mile from downtown Los Angeles' glitz, and it shows the raw face of poverty, unfiltered. Official LASA data from January 2024 shows the city of Los Angeles counted 45,252 unhoused people, with about 10.4% living in shelters, meaning the rest are unsheltered. In the Skid Row zone, roughly 3,800 people occupy just 4 square miles. 70% of them sleep out in the open. That makes it one of the densest concentrations of homelessness in the United States. Life here means no electricity, no restrooms, and safety is as rare as free parking downtown. Yet, despite the chaos, Communities form. Someone brews coffee, someone else shares a story. Lines form for donated meals. It's minimalist resilience, but it's also a window into a system that's faltering. Add mental health into the mix. Similar to earlier studies, nearly 1/3 of residents face serious untreated conditions: schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, major depression, stuck on repeat. Even more surprising, early 2025 data points to a possible 5 to 10% drop in unsheltered homelessness across LA County. That might seem hopeful, but Skid Row remains a deep scar. It's a test. Can the city ease this tension, or will it continue to grind? Skid Row isn't a detour on the map. It's the broken mirror of the American system, reflecting back at all of us. What's your take? Should this visible truth be shoved off stage or brought into bold light? Number 3. When a degree can't save you. They told us, get a degree and the world opens up. But what happens when that world burns to the ground? Meet Julian. Once a public health analyst with a master's degree, a spotless resume, and a quiet life in Pasadena. Then came the Sandalwood fire. In just 2 hours, his apartment and everything in it was gone. Insurance delays, job cuts, a cancelled contract. Fast forward 1 year, Julian's living out of his old Toyota Prius, parking near a public library for Wi-Fi and safety. Julian isn't an outlier. He's part of a growing population that proves homelessness isn't always about addiction or failure. It's often about a single twist of fate. No address, no clean clothes, no stable signal. Try getting hired in that loop, and he's far from alone. In Los Angeles, thousands of degree holders, people trained in tech, education, even medicine, are one unpaid bill away from the street. They followed the formula. The formula failed. Recent data shows that 74% of newly unhoused individuals were previously employed, and nearly half were working within 4 years of becoming homeless. Their average yearly income? $10,000, just 16% of the local median. If someone with a graduate degree and a spotless career path can lose everything overnight, what kind of future can anyone count on? Let's talk. Do you know someone like Julian? Highly educated, but crushed by a broken system? Tell us below. Julian isn't a dropout. He's a public health expert sleeping in a Prius. That's the new American equation. If you've made it this far, you know this isn't just Julian's story. It's a blueprint of how fragile success really is. Want to show you're listening? Comment, "System failed." 2 words, loud enough to echo back at the myth that degrees equal security. And hey, what happened to Julian isn't even the wildest part. The next story will make you rethink everything you thought was stable. Keep watching. Number 4. Sweeping them to the edge, literally. You won't see them on the postcards, but they're out there, swept to the city's edge like dust before a gala. That's the brutal opening to LA's hidden relocation strategy ahead of global events. As the city prepares to host major sports and cultural spectacles, some officials seem determined to create a spotless backdrop at any cost. In the week before a major soccer match, hundreds of tents vanished from downtown sidewalks. People who've already endured enough are being moved, literally, into the scorching outskirts. Picture 110 degrees Fahrenheit heat, tattered tarps, broken RVs, and no electricity. Some end up near metro stations, dropped off with no plan, no services, no future. Is that a solution, or just erasing its most vulnerable citizens? And do these actions truly address the root of the homelessness crisis? or just hide it behind a nicer skyline. Take Miss Clara Jimenez's story, a retired teacher now unable to walk due to a stroke, relying on a small cooler and a bucket system for basic survival. Water deliveries only once every 2 weeks from a local church van. No TV lie dramatization here. This is real life. Meanwhile, human rights groups label this practice internal deportation, pushing people to deserts and abandoned zones. And the numbers are alarming. One region outside the city, Antelope Valley, saw a 42% spike in homelessness in a single year. 42%. That's not a statistic. It's a red flag blinking loudly in the night. Is it fair to call this strategy relocation when no new homes, services, or safety nets are provided? Or is it a one-way ticket to nowhere? What do you think? Is sweeping them under the rug or into the desert more humane? Does moving them actually solve poverty or just shift the problem out of sight? As we go deeper into LA's shadows, it's time to ask what real compassion looks like. Could we build tiny homes, mobile clinics, or community hubs instead? Or do we keep renting facades until the next event? Do you believe a city is stronger when it shows its compassion publicly or quietly sweeps its dirt off camera? Share your thoughts below. Your voice might spark the real change this city desperately needs. Number 5. Abandoned in old age. Growing old is hard. Growing old in a beat-up SUV near the airport is cruel. Meet Ramona, a 68-year-old former school librarian. She spent over 4 decades helping children read, dream, and grow. Now, she sleeps in her car, under the flight path of LAX, surrounded by the roar of jets and the silence of a system that forgot her. Her health unraveled after a surgery gone wrong. Medical bills piled up. Her landlord raised rent by over 30% in less than a year. She tried to hold on, but when her savings ran dry, so did her options. Ramona is one of a growing group of seniors in Los Angeles who are running out of road. According to official data, older adults age 50 and above made up nearly 40% of those seeking homeless services in the last fiscal year. The number of homeless seniors is expected to surpass 36,000 by the year 2025. There are no rooms left in shelters, no affordable housing for those on fixed incomes. Even food stamps don't stretch far when gas costs more than groceries. And who hires a 68-year-old with mobility issues for a part-time job? This is more than a housing issue. It's a social reckoning. Over 3,000 elderly residents in LA have died while unhoused in the past decade. That includes nearly 500 just last year. They didn't die of illness, they died of invisibility. Let's be real. This could happen to anyone. Your neighbor, your aunt, maybe even you. So here's a question worth asking. Does aging mean fading away? Or should it mean being honored and protected? What does a society say about itself when it lets its elders vanish into asphalt and anonymity? Is growing old supposed to feel this invisible? If Ramona's story moved you, comment "Still standing" to show our elders matter. And before we continue, take 10 seconds to hit subscribe and support WandaQ. We're here to share real stories that need to be seen and felt. Number 6. Immigrants caught between 2 broken systems. They crossed oceans chasing hope and hit a wall. That's life for many immigrants in Los Angeles. Legal status in one hand, survival in the other. They're stuck in between. No full access to aid, no credit, no community nets. Homelessness. Crisis is hitting them quietly, invisibly. First thought, they should just get help. Easy to say, But with fear of high taxes, deportation, or visa loss, they stay silent. They wait. Meanwhile, bills pile up. Rent, food, phone. No safety net for a lost job. You've got hard-working folks, delivery drivers, cleaners, construction workers, who one paycheck away from losing everything. They don't show up in stats. They don't march in demonstrations. They don't call the press. They vanish into garages, through back alleys, into abandoned buildings. But they exist, and their crisis is real. Cultural expectation kicks in too. Many come from societies built on community support. Neighbors, extended families. Here, they're solo. No one picks up the emergency. No family to watch the kids while they work double shifts. No backup when heat waves or illness hit. Let's ask, have you ever wondered where your morning coffee really comes from? Imagine the barista who powers through back pain, undocumented, living in their car, afraid to apply for healthcare. Who's cleaning the Airbnb or mopping your favorite cafe? Many are immigrants slipping through those gaps. They're part of LA's backbone, but when safety nets are broken, they're the first to fall, and often they fall hard. If we can't stretch a lifeline to those who literally build the city, what does that say about us? This isn't some distant story. It's your neighbor, your co-worker, someone who can't call for help. And until we acknowledge that silence, the homelessness crisis will keep gnawing at the heart of this city. Number 7. When the young can't afford to dream. Gen Z can code an app, edit a viral video, and market a brand, all from a car parked outside a 7-Eleven. Welcome to a world where ambition meets homelessness crisis. In Los Angeles County, the 2,406 young people aged 18 to 24 were recorded as homeless in January 2024, a drop of 16.2% from the previous year. Still, over 3,000 remain at risk each night. Students, interns, early career workers who never expected to choose between rent or ramen. Young people today face skyrocketing costs. To afford the average apartment at $2,498 monthly, renters need to earn $48.04 per hour, almost 3 times the minimum wage. Most Gen Z and millennials enter adulthood buried under debt. One LA couple pays $4,000 in rent plus $450 in student loan every month, living a half-hour commute from the neighborhoods they once dreamed of. They work multiple gigs, hustle late nights, but still can't catch up. Nearly half of parents in the US are supporting adult kids, about $1,474 each month, just to help them make it. Yet dependency isn't empowerment, it's survival mode. This generation is truncated. No house, no stability, no idea if tomorrow brings a promotion, paycheck, or eviction notice. They're educated, resourceful, and digitally savvy, but years behind upward mobility. The American dream isn't deleted, it's buffering. If dreams need a zip code, this generation's been priced out before they even started dreaming. Still think hard work equals success? Comment yes if that formula worked for you. Comment no if you think it's time for a software update. Number 8. Venice Beach's fall from paradise. Venice Beach used to be the poster child for coastal vibes, surfboards, palm trees, drum circles. Today, it sends a different message. Tents line the boardwalk. Trash, human waste, and urine mark the sand. The dream destination feels more like a cautionary tale. You stroll past a taco stand and spot a man cooking on a portable grill next to his tent. Another resident is washing dishes in a public fountain. That's the reality behind the Instagram filters. The vibe is fractured. Local businesses, once counting on Coachella-style weekends, now shutter their doors. Tourists snap selfies with broken dreams in the background. Venice lost its paradise status and gained a front-row seat to the homelessness crisis. Data shows that Venice zip codes saw a 20% increase in homeless counts over the past 3 years. Restaurants lost nearly 15% in revenue last summer. Rents, once sky-high, plunged as the area turned from vacation hotspot to no-go zone. It's a surreal flip, where once tourists spent big, now locals avoid spending at all. Is it about high taxes? Not directly. This is deeper, a sign of policy gaps and cultural shifts. Without adequate shelters or coordinated services, Venice became a pressure cooker. And that pressure popped. Community dialogues started timidly. One resident told me, "I love Venice, but I don't recognize it anymore." That blunt line sums it up. The place we thought untouchable is unraveling. But unraveling doesn't always mean ending. It can signal a call to rebuild. What would you prioritize? More shelters? Better cleanup? Economic support for small businesses? Venice doesn't need a miracle. It needs a plan, with heart, funding, and follow-through. Have you visited Venice lately? What did you see and feel? Your experience might be the catalyst for change. Venice Beach still has sunsets, but the wake-up call is clear. Paradise isn't immune. Number 9. Education for the elite, nothing for the rest. In one zip code, tutors cost $6,000 a month. In the next, kids can't even afford pencils. That's the stark contrast in Los Angeles, where high taxes fund elite education pods while neighborhood schools crumble. Welcome to academic apartheid. Luxury tutoring services like Zur aren't your grandma's SAT prep. These come with full concierge packages, scheduling, snacks, even field trips on tap. We're talking $125 per hour and $6,000 per month. Compare that to family budgets that struggle to cover a used laptop. The gap is glaring. One student gets private one-on-one guidance, the other gets packet photocopies and outdated textbooks. I'm curious, is that education investment or just a license to brag? What does it say about opportunity when a child's brain power is weighed in dollars per hour? Meanwhile, public schools juggle overcrowded classrooms, understaffed counselors, and Wi-Fi that drops more than a Tinder date. Teachers juggle student loans and a 2-hour commute, hoping their passion keeps them afloat. This isn't just budget cuts, it's a systemic test of who's deemed worthy of learning. Let's pause. Did we fight for public education to create an exclusive club, or to empower every mind, regardless of postcode? The math is brutal. A luxury tutor could cost 1/10 of LA rent. Meanwhile, many families sacrifice meals or skip medical visits just to pay for school supplies. That sharp contrast begs the question, is America's education turning into a poverty trap for some and a VIP lounge for others? Do we accept this inequality or demand better? Could community tutoring hubs, volunteer programs, or cross-institution partnerships bridge this divide? Or will elite pods keep expanding like Silicon Valley bubble schools? What do you think? Should every child have access to high-quality education, not just those with deep pockets? Does this feel like education or exclusion? Comment. Bubble school. If you've ever felt this system isn't built for everyone, and trust me, what's coming up next isn't just a chapter, it's a mirror. Number 10. Rays of hope in a broken system. Light breaks through even the thickest cracks. Enter community-led solutions, micro-units, mobile hygiene, tiny homes that shine amid the homelessness crisis. What started as DIY fixes is now sparking real-scale change. Take LA's Chandler Boulevard Tiny Home Village. 40 homes on half an acre, rent-free, utilities included. Residents stay 3 to 6 months, then move on to permanent housing. They don't just sleep under a roof, they rebuild their lives with support from case managers, showers, job help. One project even won a National Architecture Award, proof that dignity can look good. Or mobile shower and laundry services, like shower-up vans, cruising the streets, offering clean clothes, clean bodies, human dignity. It's simple, it's needed, and it eases the haze of invisibility. Tiny home villages are rapidly expanding. California pledged 1,200 units statewide, 500 just in LA County, with critical backing from nonprofits and foundations. Yes, they're not castles, they're sparse cabins. But last-mile support, mental health, job training, makes the difference between fleeting shelter and real chance. Are these solutions perfect? Some units leak or lack heat, and funding is never enough. NGOs say there remains a $20 to $30 daily gap per resident for case management, meals, maintenance. But that's not a thirst for perfection. It's progress. Imagine thousands stepping onto the first rung of stability. Micro-villages in Atlanta and Denver house over 1,000 people, with retention rates above 80%. That's not a blip, that's blueprint. Will LA keep treating these as stopgaps, or scale this into a system that heals? Should county officials push for high taxes on luxury developments to fund more of this? What do you think? Tiny homes as spark of hope, or just paper bandages? Los Angeles isn't broken. It's just unfinished, like a movie with too many rewrites and no final cut. What we showed today wasn't the full picture. It's the parts we usually crop out. But they're still there, just off camera. So here's a question. When comfort becomes a privilege and shelter a gamble, how do we measure progress? Thanks for walking this street with us. Romekind signs off for now, but the next story's already unfolding. Same city, different angle,